Well. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to LOI Fan TV this evening, joined by the only consistent member of the squad these days, Adzi. We possibly be joined by Socko, I think, at some stage. He's going to pop in as well. But yeah, Adzi seems to be just a reoccurring theme these days. But how are you keeping? All good?
Yeah, not too bad. You can't complain at all. Like I said, most consistent, but obviously we're getting the most entertainment out of people as well. So look, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, Russ.
That's it, man. 100%, 100%. Big one in store for you now this evening. A lot to chat about. Shamrock Rovers' point of view. A lot going on last week, and of course coming up this weekend as well, which we will, of course, delve into. We're looking at all of game week 19's results. We're looking at ahead to game week 20 as well. A couple of massive games this weekend. We're looking at the excuse me. We'll be looking at the FAI Cup draw, of course, as well as Irish under-21 draw as well for the Euros. And then we'll be doing our kind of Irish Players Abroad segment, little small one at the end as well. So, yeah, great show in store this evening. If you do go on to enjoy the video, guys, or the stream, please do drop a like on it down below. If you can hit around that 30 like mark, that's your target. If you can hit that, that would be absolutely superb. And yeah, do subscribe if you're new around here as well. Much appreciated. But we will jump straight into it, Adzi. Starting off with Sligo Rovers playing host to Finn Harps, a comfortable win. It was actually John Russell's first game as permanent manager, permanently getting the job after Liam Buckley's departure, of course. Comfortable enough, 3 points for them over Finn Harps. Finn Harps side, who seemed to be in a big amount of trouble this season, but not a bad result for Sligo Rovers.
No, not at all. I mean, not much to say about it, really. I think we're discussing weeks ago as soon as Buckley got sacked. It's obviously that bounce back feeling players get when there's a new manager coming in. A lot of stuff for players to prove.
Yeah.
So it was always going to be the initial phase of Russell coming in. It was always going to be very positive and so on, and playing nice football and lads eager to get going. So it was probably a bit of a formality for them as well.
Yeah.
Half, as you said, like that, it looks as if it's getting worse up there. It's which is kind of sad to see from a neutral point of view, because I think we
11
are
points from 19 games so far, only 2 points ahead of UCD, so that's very tight at the bottom two there. And you can't see anyone else coming into that bottom two now. It's done deal between those two, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it feels like it. Like I think Drogheda have opened up a bit of a gap. We were talking about that last day as well, and so
Points,
on.
yeah.
And I think at the moment you'd rather be UCD, because they've kind of got into a rhythm together. They've had some good performances here and there, whereas at the start of the season they were quite awful. But and obviously it's not great for them, but they're looking better as they go on. So I'd be worried more so for Finn Half than I would for UCD as well.
Yeah. No, the fairly standard result, and you would have expected a home win here, kind of comfortably enough, just given the form of Finn Harps coming into it. But as I say, there UCD, we'll jump into them now. Obviously playing against St. Pat's, and listen, to go to Richmond Park 2-1 for UCD, put up a decent game against St. Pat's. It's definitely a promising sign. Obviously, it's been well documented that they've had a big injury to Colin Whelan, of course, up front. Owen Doyle got the 2 goals for St. Pat's here, and Alex Nolan got a consolation laid on as well. But those are the types of results you're seeing from UCD. They're putting in decent enough performances, all things considered, and they're kind of looking to be putting a bit of a fight against the kind of bigger and better teams in the league. So, yeah, as you said there, it seems to be kind of it'll be a tight fight down the bottom, it seems like, anyway.
Yeah, like I know, despite the loss, I say UCD will gain a bit of confidence from that. Able to go out and still play the way they want to play against the likes of Pats, like I just said, one of the top teams. It gives them confidence in knowing that they can, play, but also make it a dogfight. They can be hard. They've been traditionally a side that when they're up, they're hard to beat, because they have all the young lads that they've had throughout the years that are eager to prove something as well. So they're, you know, their heads are up a little bit, because they want to. A lot of lads, like the likes of your Kerrigans, they're going to want to move now in the summer once they're finished their degree and whatnot. So they're going to be up for it. They're going to give it a bit of a fight. And now that I think, as I said, the gap is closed, as I said, like it's got, like I'd rather be in UCD's position than Finn Harps, because like that the only way is up, and they're probably playing a better football out of the two sides as well. Pats as well needed a good win. You know, they've been kind of hovering around that fourth, fifth spot as well. So
Yeah.
I think after the break, you know, a tough game against, you know, UCD, you know, they needed that win, and good for Alan Doyle getting the 2 goals, because I think we all expected that he was going to be top scorer for the end of the season as well, and it hasn't really gotten like that. I don't think it's gotten. He's done that well for Pat, but
Yeah.
you know,
This could
this will,
kickstart it now, type of thing.
yeah, he can still end up being
Yeah,
top
yeah.
goal scorer. You know, no knock on him. I know he has still has a few goals, but I think we're all putting expectations on him to have maybe 10 or 15 goals by this stage.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think Pats are. It isn't overly convincing seeing that kind of 2-1 over UCD, though, isn't it? It's not overly convincing, really, from their point of view. And I think Chris Forrester came out and said something today, kind of saying that the people need to be patient with them. It's a very new team, and of course that is true as well. But I think he was saying something about them still being in the title race and stuff like that. And I was thinking, like,
Yeah.
I don't see them being anywhere near a title race. To be honest with you, I think they're miles off that.
What's it
Just in
he
terms of
said?
consistency.
Yeah, what's it he said that sometimes I think there was an article put up on the Independent, like sometimes success kind of like hampers you a little bit in a way. I don't know what I can't remember the exact quote, but I don't know if it was something along
Yeah,
the lines of
something
that.
along those lines. I think I saw that. Yeah.
So
It's like the
they need to get
expectations are
complacent.
higher and stuff.
Yeah, you get complacent and stuff. You know, you win something, you're a winner now. So it's important to build on that and not getting too ahead of yourselves. Whereas Pat seemed to have a little bit. No, it's still early on in the season, and I was expecting them at the start to, you know, be challenging us for the title as well. But
Yeah.
it's the way it goes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Speaking of yourselves, we'll jump into that. We'll do a
Yeah,
deep dive. You're at the game, weren't you? Dundalk
yeah,
beating us by a goal to nil. Robbie Benson, 81st minute goal, and then of course Ronald Finn saw red, 83rd minute as well. Wasn't a great game. Now I've heard between both sides. Didn't actually get to watch it myself, but I heard it was a poor enough game. And Shamrock Rovers didn't do themselves any favors or didn't kind of gain many plaudits. I don't think in this one.
No, it was a terrible game to watch. Now, I think both sets of fans will agree with that. You know,
It's a tough pitch and
never
all, though, isn't
easy.
it?
Yeah, well, it's more that's obviously suited to Dundalk, but you know, Rovers. I can't remember Rovers ever playing really well up there as well. The times I've seen them, it's a terrible pitch. You know, no excuse as well. Like Dundalk are going to have that advantage as well. We just have to adapt to it. Um, yeah, both sides weren't great. Like, like I don't think Rovers didn't really have many chances really, and in the second half, the Dundalk had a few, but they weren't great at all. I wasn't really impressed by Dundalk at all. You wouldn't believe they're second. That's no knock on them at all. Like I'm just trying to be honest here as well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really believe they're a second place team, because when we played them up in Tala, you know, granted it was 1-0 again, but Rovers looked comfortable throughout, and it didn't look like they were going to concede at all, really. So it was a tough one from a Rovers point of view, especially uh, coming after like a good spell that we've had coming out after the break. You know,
Yeah.
having to lose like that, especially with the game coming up on Friday, it wasn't ideal at all. Granted, we've Burke
Absolutely.
and Jack out injured as well, but it's not. I don't think any Rovers fans have an excuse. We have the depth for it to
No,
still compete.
absolutely.
You know.
Yeah.
So look, poor for both sides. I don't know. I can't say if Dundalk slightly deserved to win or not. I wasn't really impressed by them at all, really. Again, Rovers were poor, but it makes it interesting now.
Yeah. Listen, Addy, we gave Keith Long like a tough enough time there a week or two back. I think it's only fair if you have a look at Stephen Bradley. You're kind of saying, obviously, Dundalk not really in the title race and stuff. 5 points behind Rovers with game in hand. So it's kind of obviously to keep that bit of consistency up, they can definitely be in with a shout, you'd imagine. And
Oh, no doubt they're in it. You just wouldn't have.
yeah.
You wouldn't, by the look of them, you wouldn't think they're in it. Do you know what I mean? By the way they play,
Yeah.
but like they're in it.
Yeah. Like, I this might be a bit out there, but I think Stephen Bradley is actually underachieving if there's so much as even a title race this season, because of how much better Rovers are than all the other teams on paper. Like four wrote down just top of my head 4 kind of points to kind of back that up. Like the lack of should be title contenders to Shamrock Rovers. You're looking at obviously the 3 main ones probably being from the start of the season, maybe your Pats, your Dundalk, and your Derry. All 3 teams who had massive changes in the off season. Both all of them in all kind of huge transition periods, you could say. A lot of new managers there as well and things like that. So definitely Rovers have an advantage from that point of view. You'd say no significant departures as well from Rovers. They kind of kept hold of everyone that they would have wanted to have kept. Only kind of losing maybe a little bit of dead wood was all they lost. They added not an awful lot, but some real quality. The best young fullback in the league, if not probably now the best fullback in the league, you can nearly say. Definitely up there for sure. And of course, you're bringing back in Jack Byrne as well, who's probably, as he comes in, he's instantly the best player in the league, you could say, just off his ability. And then, of course, Rovers, maybe their wage budget and their squad depth is just scandalous compared to everyone else. Like, just in terms of the squad depth, it was just so apparent when you played against us when Mandrew was out, Byrne was out, Gaffney was out, I think it was. And I was like, oh, we have a real chance here. Look at the team sheet. Your front 3 is Graham Burke, Richie Tell, and Aaron Green. And I was like, here, it's just outrageous. So I think it might be a little bit harsh, but I think
no, I hear you.
Bradley potentially underachieving. If there's even a title race, if it's even competitive, he's potentially underachieving.
Well, what I'll say to that is we got off to a terrible start. I think what was it? We won 2 and lost 2 in the first 4 games or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
So we started slow, and I think that was time for the squad gelling together. Berkey had to go up, Bradley won the game, so it could have been a bit of that. But then we went on an absolutely outrageous run of form. They still are technically, 10 wins in your last 13 is still ridiculous.
Yeah.
Considering where we were, then we got. So we're now so far ahead of Derry, who are 1.7 points clear, something like that.
Yeah. Derry are after dropping off.
Look at the difference. One thing as well. I think it's fair to say. I think it's fair to say anyway. But regardless of my bias towards Rovers, Rovers are always the team to beat. Every team on the calendar are looking to see when they play Rovers and stuff. Is like, all right, this is the big game. This is the game we want to win. This is the game we want to put it up to them and stuff. So there's no easy games for us, regardless of who it is, whether it's UCD or Dundalk, Derry, Drogheda. They're always going to be more up for it than any other game. In my opinion, because it's the team to beat. They're Ireland's most successful club. They're the biggest club in the country. So I'm just saying. I think Rovers have always had that target on their back. They're the team to beat. They're the team everyone wants to join as well. So those are the 2 things I would say. Fair, I do hear should there be a show for a title race? It's hard to say. I think teams
underachieving it. Still wins the league, but it's underachieving.
Alan Cawley would say something like that. But no, I think I hear what you're saying. I just think when teams come and play Rovers, they up their game, regardless of who they are. You get your biggest attendance at Rovers games when Rovers are in town. We bring out all the fans out of the woodwork and out of the closet. So, it's I think it's a bit of that as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. While we're discussing Shamrock Rovers, might as well mention the Champions League draw. Happy enough?
Yeah, considering who we could have gotten, Lech Poznan were unseeded.
Yeah,
which is outrageous.
Mental, crazy. Yeah,
how Rovers are seeded. Look, I can't complain at all.
Jesus, no, absolutely not.
No, it's absolute. It's all right. And considering how
transfer mark, you see that thing? It was like Rovers' team was worth I know it's not putting that overly accurate, but Rovers' team was 3 million or something like that, and Lech Poznan's 40 or 50 or something, the whole squad value. It would have been a nightmare to get them.
Yeah, it would have been a nightmare completely. But that draw was a bit weird because when you looked at it, Rovers were the lowest ranked seeded team, but then the highest ranked, lowest seeded team was bleeding Linfield.
Yeah.
And it's the difference in between the leagues is just outrageous. If we had got Linfield, you would have wiped the floor with them over 2 legs. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
so the whole draw is a bit bizarre. But on the draw itself, look, I'm happy enough.
Hibernian
Um,
Malta, isn't it?
yeah, so
Yeah.
it should be comfortable for us. But like Europe isn't.
Never know.
Europe wasn't too kind to us last year, to be honest with you. So
Yeah.
um,
You're never going to play an easy team in Champions League, realistically. It's just never going to be an easy game. Like,
nah. And again, like these are going to be up for it as well. You know,
absolutely.
it's going to be
They would
mental.
look. This is a good draw for themselves. Like, they
Yeah,
probably think this is a good. Yeah.
absolutely. And then the potential draws we could get in the second round, like we could get Ludogorets or the Moldovan team, is it, or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah. I
I
can't
can't
remember the
remember the
name.
name.
I think Ludogorets would be the favourites, wouldn't they, for that?
Ah,
Be
yeah. Well,
strong favourites, I think.
were
Yeah.
they in the Champions League last season? They had
I think
definitely
they were
been
in the
in
group
before.
stage and all. Yeah. They've been in the
So
group stage and stuff. So.
it's going to be tough either way. I think we'd be still wanting to do well in Europe and hopefully qualifying for the Conference League at least. It's not that I'm like expecting Rovers to I think we should be. It's not that an expectancy, but we should be getting to the stage of like that. At least we're challenging for a group stage of any European competition. Back to the squad we have. So yeah, it's looking forward to it now. Hopefully we get a good run. Hopefully we get a good run and then see all the other teams fail.
Yeah. Just support the Irish in Europe, though.
Depends who it is.
Yeah.
Depends who it is. I never got behind the whole Bows thing, even though they're doing well.
I'm sure Bows fans will be rooting for Rovers now in the Champions League.
They have no what a choice. So they don't. They're going to the Stony Batter Festival.
We'll move on. I mean, we kind of mentioned Derry City there briefly enough beforehand. Obviously, going through a really, really rough period at the moment. Dropping a lot of points that you'd expect them to be picking up. A 1-1 draw here against Drogheda United. Matty Smith with the goal in the 33rd minute. So they took the lead. But former Shamrock Rovers striker Dean Williams with the equaliser, a penalty after 78 minutes to draw level. A good draw for Drogheda. You have to give them a lot of credit for that. They're picking up a lot of decent points. They're getting a nice gap now between the bottom two, so it's a very solid season so far for Drogheda. But for Derry, it's not going well at the moment, isn't it? Not really.
Is that 1 point in 5 games?
I think it's something along those lines. Yeah. I'm
Very
looking at it
good.
here. A draw, a loss, and a loss. I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Last
quite
4.
poor, isn't it? It's quite poor for them now, to be honest with you. I think
So 8 points behind you.
I think after the break, they would have had time to refresh and stuff, but they clearly haven't.
Because
Very
it's not like it's
surprised
a
at
bad
that.
fixture to come back to. Like, you'd think, it's a decent game to come back to get a win under the belt and go again type of thing. Like, it's a good kind of home to draw that. Like, draw that tough side, of course, but a home game against a team in the bottom 3, like, you'd be thinking that's not bad. Like, you'd take that and we can get going again. Like,
Yeah, like it's a game. When all due respect to Drogheda, it's a game they should be winning. But as you said, Drogheda aren't actually doing too bad.
No.
Considering that, like we talked about, that the top teams change and Drogheda have had massive changes as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, and like big shout out to Dean Williams. I know he's done us a few favors as well since he's joined Drogheda. He scored a few goals for us, so he is obviously kicking on, which delighted to see. He was always never really got his chance at Rovers, but he's taking it now with Drogheda, which hats off to him.
Yeah.
I struggle to see where Derry go from here. I'd be worried for them in Europe. Especially playing those games, then going into a league game, perhaps the Sunday night or whatever. It's going to be tough for them. So I think that could that could even send them further down the table as well. They're going to pick up a lot. They're going to have to rotate their squad a lot more than they are now. So
I don't think they have the players to really do it, though. They don't have the best depth. I don't think really.
No, not at all. It's like that, as we said. The starting 11's great, but can they, produce a good bench? I don't think they can.
Yeah.
And
Duffy being out as well. Like, it's these types of games where Duffy will pop up and get you the winner and a bit of magic or get an assist to get a goal, and grab the 3 points. Like this is the type of game that he'd really thrive in. So yeah, missing out on a player his quality is always going to be a big blow. Like
Yeah, absolutely. So it's if they get anyone in the window now just to add to their depth a little bit. Not necessarily anyone that's of note. That's like I don't think anyone will be available if that's top
I
quality
think
that
there
would
was
slot in.
whispers or two with Liam Kerrigan or something like that, which would be a good one to get in. I think, but it'd be interesting to see if he'd go up there. Or
Yeah,
if he'd go
I don't know
abroad
if
or
he'd
something.
want. I don't know if he'd want to. It's hard if he'd relocate up to there as well. Especially like if they're giving him good money, I'd say he could alright, but it's hard to tell. I think after
Yeah.
Kerrigan's performances for the under 21s, he's warranted a good move from for himself, regardless of where he goes. So
Yeah, no, for
if they
sure.
can get him, I'll take him because he's very good. But I think it'd be hard to convince him otherwise.
Yeah, no, definitely. Finally, game week 19, Bohemians won, Shelburne 0. Moving into game week 20, then of course.
No, you have to make a statement here. You have to say something here.
Oh, stop! An absolute
You
slicker. To be fair,
you have to say something here.
absolute shocker. Like, yeah, Dawson Devoy course, 13 minutes. I don't know what JJ Lunny was doing, to be honest, dallying on the ball. Dawson Devoy picked it up, decent strike, 1-0 Bows. Shane Farrell running clean through and goal. Kieran Kelly drags him down in 54 minutes. He's red carded, and yeah, Shells just couldn't really create an awful lot, to be honest. It's a disappointing performance, to be honest. Both teams didn't play great, to be honest with you. Like, it wasn't a great match. Like, and two sides that are firmly rooted in mid-table for a reason, I think. Yeah, we missed John Boyd big time up top. Just having that kind of target man, that focal point is so important for us. And I think we had Shane Farrell, Jack Moylan kind of playing up there, and it's just they don't really offer you. They're kind of wide players, and they need someone to kind of play off. Even having, I know he hasn't been great for us, but having that kind of Dan Kerr would just have given us a bit more of an option. I think he came on, he did all right, like gave us a little bit of something. Just to have that, even to have defenders drawn towards him and stuff, and kind of having that presence. I think we missed that big time. And yeah, I think Farrell and Moylan, this is like they're not big enough. They're kind of small, nimble, very good players, but it's kind of small and nimble, and they need that kind of target man to feed off. So yeah, Sean Boyd, huge loss, and I think that's an area the pitch Shells desperately need to look at if they're looking to bring in a couple of players. I think the striker, and who it is a big question mark. Obviously, it's not a position that's overly like stocked in the League of Ireland. Really, there's not an abundance of options really to go and get really, but yeah, it is an option where maybe you take a punt on someone from a different country or something like that. But yeah, I think it's definitely an area that pitch Shells need to improve on. And listen, gutting one. I did come out on Twitter obviously before the match, and I said like we should be beating Cloud Chaser FC, like, you know, the bus jersey and all. Like, there's something else, like climate justice officers, and they're not sustainable, you know, bringing out new jerseys every 2 weeks. So yeah, I don't know, but I knew it was going to backfire anyway. But it's just funny.
Talk about sustainability.
Yeah. And what they're hiring a what is it? A football social responsibility manager, I think it is now as well. Like, I think he's getting 38 grand a year. Like, I think that was in the description. Like, what? Like, surely spend that on the team. Like, seventh, or they were seventh in the league before this match or whatever. Like, you think to be spending that money on the team? Like, I don't know. Like, football social responsibility manager. Like, have you ever heard the likes of that? Like,
no, I haven't.
Fair enough, if you're Shamrock Rovers, you're running away with the league title, you can maybe focus on off the pitch stuff. Like, come on, like, fuck's sake.
Look, that's what makes us league champions at the end, Ross. You know, that's the difference between us and them. So, I think going back to the game, I didn't see the sending off, but I think Bo's having the 10 men for 40 minutes of the second half.
Yeah.
Not been able to capitalise. Like, it's regardless if you're home or away, you have to take advantage of that, especially at centre half like Kieran Kelly.
Yeah.
He was the main focal point for them as well. He'll be a big loss now for the derby, but I think you have to punish that. I don't think Shells can have any excuses, really.
It's a poor Bows team. Like, it's not a good side. Like,
yeah, it's the thing as well. When you go back to Sean Boyd, like, he'll do well for you, but you need to keep him fit, and we know his injury struggles in the past.
And he gets booked every game as well. He's always suspended and all as well. Like, so.
Yeah, like it's tough to keep hold of him. I know he's talented and whatnot, and it's just keeping him fit and then keeping his head level. It's gonna be hard. Like it's I think we all fancied Shells, or we definitely all fancied Shells to go in and beat them easily. You know, considering how Bowles been
I knew it.
playing.
We all went for Shells in the
We
prediction
all went
post.
for
Like,
Shells,
yeah,
yeah.
it's cursed now. Like it's ever happening.
And I'm gotta be honest that was warranted.
No,
You know,
absolutely, yeah.
Shells are playing excellent up until that.
The Rovers
You
match.
know, yeah, the Rovers match. I wasn't at it now,
Spain.
but you know, I know they lost, but like they were playing well. You know, better than how we played them, how they played against us the first time in Talca. So, you know, I think it was warranted. Um, so Bowles fans are obviously delighted. Like even like one or two text me like going like 2-0 out with a question mark, stuff like that. I was like, well, like you know, like you can't really fault me for that. But look, as a Shells will be disappointed with in the end. You know, I don't think there's any
Yeah.
excuse losing that, especially with the two runs of form both teams are on. You know, they need to be doing better there.
I think in a way, like not that it played into Bowes' hands, but Kieran Kelly going off like made it like their sole mission to sit behind the ball. If you get me, like they didn't go and attack, then they didn't leave any space in behind or anything. If you know what I mean, like it kind of they could only have one game plan then after that, and that was just to see it out. And like obviously you give them credit for seeing it out, but I think that can sometimes not plays into your hands, but like sometimes it gives you that focus to kind of grind out the match and everyone's behind the ball then rather than maybe looking for a second goal and leaving some gaps.
Yeah, you know it's difficult, but I think that's when you know I think when you're facing a man said that when you're facing a team with 10 men, especially for a significant period of time, I think it's either you keep putting the ball up there and putting them under pressure and you know tiring them out, or you just keep doing quick passes, you know, changing the ball left or right constantly and just being patient with it, but having the ball keep moving very quickly. Especially, I think that's the way Duff wants to play as well. So it was just a matter of trying to wear them out and so on. So
yeah,
it's a hard one. Even like getting lads in the pockets there, you know, to occupy maybe a centre half or a midfielder. So maybe depending on where they're going, if they're going inside or out, just having someone there to be occupied. Not necessarily doing much, but you know, just a distraction for them anyway. But it's poor from Michelle's point of view, I think.
No, absolutely, and doesn't get any easier this weekend. We'll get on to in a minute. Thank God that is over. Game week 20. Moving on to Drogheda against Sligo. Tricky one to call this. Obviously, Drogheda a decent point last week away at Derry, and Sligo obviously off the back of a 3-0 win. I think I'd fancy a draw on that one. Like I think that has a draw written all over. To be honest, hard to know. You know.
See, Drogheda they're known for you know getting a good result and then going out the next week and then losing their match or whatever. And what was it? I think it happened earlier on in the season. They beat someone 4-2 or something like that. They had a good result, and then the next week they got hammered by whoever. I can't remember exactly, but they're kind of, you know, they're winning games, but they're losing games quite significantly as well. I don't want to say a draw because, you know, they both have potential to win this. I'll go for Sligo win, so I will.
It could go either way, couldn't it? It's a real tricky one to call. Like that's the type of game you see on live score or something, and it could go. The result could be anything, and you'd be like, "I'm not surprised by that." Like it's just one of those weird fixtures. Like, but I think
I'll go for Sligo.
Yeah, Sligo I could see winning it. In fairness,
you know they're still on that buzz with John Russell and so on. So
yeah. UCD Derry is tricky as well. Obviously Derry have been stinking lately, stinking the place out. UCD at home as well. Obviously, they come back up to break Derry. Be looking at those two games, thinking draw out of UCD 6 points, get back on a roll, and now you're just thinking, like, can they buy a win at the moment? Like it's,
especially with what we were talking about earlier. You know, UCD they're getting close to the Finn Harps, and you know there's a bit of dog about them now as well. You imagine Derry have to go back to winning ways at some point. You know, and I hate saying it because if you say, "Oh, this is the game," I've been saying for the last few weeks, this is the game for them to bounce back and so on. Yet they haven't won a game since. You know, it's hard to tell. I'll go Derry, but I'll go narrow. I don't see
Yeah.
it being easy for them.
I think I'd agree with you. Yeah, I think I'd go. I think they have to pick up a win at some stage, and they have the quality to do it. No question of that. I think this could be the week that they finally get 3 points on the board, and it's desperately needed. In fairness,
Yeah.
Really, did he need to pick up the 3 points? Finn Harp saying Pat Zadzi. Finn Harp's obviously like dire like at the moment, and it's probably like a game that they'd look at and see UCD giving it Pat's a good game last week. They know obviously it's a tough trip up to Donegal. We say it every bloody 2 weeks, but Pats are a little bit inconsistent this season. They've been a bit all over the place. Definitely a tough game to call, but I think Finn Harps have just been so bad lately that I think Pats will just about have enough. Just with the quality they have in the final third, Owen Doyle, Chris Farrer, Sudar Burns. I just think they'll have too much for Finn Harps, who are just on an absolute horrible. They're having a horrible season altogether. Actually, to be honest, it's not even a horrible run of form. This is an awful season. And I think Pats will. I don't think it'll be overly convincing, but I think that they'll have enough quality to see them off here.
Yeah, I'd go for like a 2-0 Pats win as well, a 1 or 2-0 Pats win. Not like as I said, I don't think it'll be convincing at all by any means, but I think it's especially Owen Doyle scoring those few goals as well.
Yeah.
Get confidence, and Finn Harps that are looking behind them, seeing UCD or they're not necessarily winning every game, but they're not going down without a fight as well. I think it's kind of worrying for them, so they'll be looking over the shoulder at the same time, and you never know, they might take confidence from that UCD game against Pat. Sorry. I mean, like, look, if UCD can, dog it out with Pat, then, we can. Like, if there's a team that's going to dog it out with a team, it's going to be Finn Harps against anybody. So,
yeah,
I'll still go for a Pats win again, only narrow though. I'll go for a Pats win.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Shelburne against Dundalk doesn't get any tougher really in Dundalk at the moment. I think they've won the last 5 games. I think really good run of form at the moment. They'll be full of confidence travelling to Talcott Park. But of course, it'll be a very, very tough game. Shells, of course, will have a bit of a bitter taste in their mouth after the game at Daily Mount. They'll be raring to go. Obviously in front of a home crowd again as well. They'll make it very, very difficult for Dundalk. And this one will be tight 100%. And I'm presuming you're hoping we can do you as a favour here, even nick a draw.
Yeah, like I'm kind of inclined to go for a draw myself here. Shells wanting to bounce back. Now Dundalk will have their tails up though as well. After beating us, it's going to give them confidence in playing whoever now. They could go on a good run. But like that, I don't. I don't see much difference between the two sides at the moment as well. Shells about the performance. Like I said, I haven't been really impressed with them. I'll go for a draw here, just out of hope as well. For the game, I could see them edging it, but I'm more so going for the draw.
I think they've played at Talcott Park already this season. I think it was a 1-1 draw. Sean Boyd got the goal for Shells. I think actually it was a penalty, but I think they've drawn previously at Talcott Park. And I think that is potentially a safe route to go down. I think like a 1-1 or something is definitely I could see it. Like I could definitely see Shells nicking something from this, and the point to be a very, very good result, of course, for Shells. But I just think Dundalk, just in the form they're in, I think they might just keep the pressure on Shamrock Rovers. Of course, it's going to be a difficult night for Shamrock Rovers. We'll get onto that in a minute, but it's going to be a difficult night for Shamrock Rovers. Dundalk will always know anything can happen in the Dublin Derby. Rovers could drop some points tonight. They'll have a huge incentive to, of course, go and win this game. And I think, unfortunately, that they might just have enough to nick it. I don't want to be. Did you ever see that thing where it was like a Liverpool legend predicted him to win like 300 games in a row or something? I can't remember who it was.
Mark Lawrenson.
So I think it was him. Yeah. So I don't even like that with Shells.
In fairness, though, you're not going to back your team to beat them, draw or lose. Do you know what I mean?
That's so funny though.
So since I've been on, how many times have I predicted Rovers to win? Probably every week.
But like it's conceivable though, in fairness, in your position. Yeah.
Can't go wrong with that. No complaints.
But yeah, I think genuinely, I do think Dundalk. I think it'd be very tight, but I just think Dundalk might just have enough to like just your Robbie Bensons and stuff. Just is match winners in that team, Pat Hope and Dan Kelly. I just think they'll have a slightly too much for Shells, but I think it'll be a very, very tasty fixture, and there won't be an awful lot in it whatsoever. But maybe like a 1-0 away win or something.
It was the last game before. Was it the game Duff got sent off and then Shells went on that run, wasn't it?
I think you're right. Yeah. I think you're right.
So it's. I think we've seen how much Shells have improved since then, and they're playing at home as well. I'd go for the draw, but I'd slightly favour Dundalk as well.
Yeah. And of course, it's time for what we've all been waiting for. Of course, we've had it in the title of the stream. A massive, massive game goes down in Tala this Friday night. Sold out and all by Monday. I think it was done. 7,500. Great occasion in store at the Tala Stadium. This just before we get into the football side of it, for occasions like this, the sooner they get that fourth stand built, the better. Because it's going to be a cracking little stadium, and for occasions like this, and would it be a case of checking Bowes or whoever's fan, the away fan, to go behind the goal, one of the goals, like the opposite end, checking, and have Rovers down the tree?
Yeah, I'd say the away fans go behind the opposite end, so I would.
Yeah.
Maybe split it a bit, have
the atmosphere that it would be sick, wouldn't it?
Yeah, maybe be like the half, half of the away fans in the north stand, and maybe just the other half in the east. No.
Just in time. How are things?
What's the crack?
Just getting into the Dublin Derby, the last game. We're previewing. It's obviously the main event, basically, of this weekend.
Good to have a Bowes fan with us now.
Good. Yeah. He shares, man. He shares.
Oh boy.
How you getting on, Soccer?
Yeah, all good. How's things? Good to see your face.
Can't complain. Yeah, good to see you on the. It's been a little while, actually. Been a little while.
Yeah.
Been a good while, yeah.
Too long.
So it has.
But Adzi, what were you saying there? Apologies.
Like maybe splitting the stand, so maybe having half of the away fans in the north stand, and maybe having another half of them in the east. But then like splitting the north stand, having some neutrals as well by the side of it. It's hard to tell. Yeah, so it is. But no, it's great. I think it's the fourth or fifth time there's been over 7,000 at Rovers this year.
Amazing.
It's savage, especially. I think we're averaging like 5,500 every week at every home game, which is great for the league. Like I know people just going because of the occasion. I'm bringing, one of the lads as well on Friday. For his first time, he's like, it's the first time he's ever been to a match. He was like, let's go to this one.
Yeah,
right into the deep end, and it's as always, it's built up to be a cracker. So
yeah,
hopefully it is from a neutral point of view.
I was just saying, Socko, just before we get into the football side of it, that like occasions like this, I think the game was sold out on Monday. You're saying the sooner that fourth stand gets built, the better.
Yeah, it's unreal. I have a piece coming out about it on Friday. I talked to a director at Rovers, and he was just explaining how like their season tickets have doubled since 2018. Memberships have doubled.
Really? Yeah.
Well, they're hoping to have like the North Stand. They said their aim is to have 10,000 sellouts like regularly, which would be absolutely unreal. Like they're the benchmark. I know it's the best stadium in the league, but like it's really the benchmark. As Adzi was saying, like fifth time there's been over 7,000. And it's absolutely superb. Like there's no other atmosphere like it. And the sooner the North Stand is done, the better. And I think from next year they're hoping to have concerts and like other events too. Once the North Stand is completed. So it'll be absolutely superb. And like the game itself will be savage as well. It's kind of like obviously Rovers are the favourites, but like they had a bad loss last week to Dundalk, and I'm sure we'll come into football, but from the
talk about that, Soccer. Thank you.
From the tickets point of view, like it's been superb. Like it's been absolutely superb.
Yeah, no,
I think as well, just real quick, say if Rovers continues to grow with the rate they're growing, as you said, Dublin season tickets, Dublin memberships in 2018, I can eventually see, and my granddad talks about the whole time, I can eventually see the stadium being wrapped around at one point, connecting,
Oh,
so
really?
having the main stand connected to the north and south,
That'd be unreal.
And then the east stand. I think it could well happen.
There's definitely like the space. I think that would definitely be achieved, but like it seems like there's a space there to do it, and there's definitely like it definitely could it's a bit of planning permission ever, but like I'm sure there'd be no problems getting that done. Like that'd be such a cool feature, like because it's so like rare. You see it. I don't like you wouldn't see that like in the League of Ireland at all, but you see it in other countries and stuff as well, like where they have those types of stadiums. There, I think it's Hungary have some class stadiums, and that should be what we're aiming for, like that kind of those facilities in the League of Ireland, because it just makes the whole experience and the whole look of it, even on TV and stuff, it looks so much better just to the eye and to the neutral, and of course get somebody kind of
it's a bit of an old school feel to it. You know what I mean? Like there's it's I remember being in White Hart Lane. It was not wraparound, but it was like stand, but it was stand and just connected to the other one and stuff. It wasn't essentially a wraparound, but it was all tight in and compact. I reckon, I'm not going to say it's not going to happen in the next 5 years or something, but let's say Rovers are averaging 5,500 at the moment. We get the North Stand in, we say we average maybe 8,000 then. And then, the Dublin derbies, the European games, the top of the table clashes, they're all sell out for 10,000.
Yeah.
And there's no reason for the stadium to be wrapped around then. Now, I reckon it could be a while, but I could see it potentially happen at some stage. It might be 10 years, it might be 20 years, but I think it would be great to see.
Just two other things with the tickets thing. The fellow I was talking to said the Adam, is that true? The kids' season tickets are 25 quid.
Yeah, for everyone under 14, I think. Yeah,
€1.40.
Amazing.
For 18 games, like absolutely incredible. And another interesting thing I kind of found was he was saying 90% of the tickets are online sales now, whereas before it would have been a lot of walk up, like getting at the booths, and it seems to be Rovers are kind of creating like a position where if you don't get your ticket like well in advance, it'll be sold out, and you might be at a risk of not getting a ticket. So that's a really good position for the club to be in. And I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it on Friday, like 7,500, same as last time they met in April, I think it was. It's absolutely class.
So I think it was up in, just before we go on to the football, like I was talking to somebody there the other day, and he said he got his tickets, 2.5, 3 weeks ago, because he said he knew it would sell out eventually, and like granted Monday it sold out, but it's having that demand 2.5, 3 weeks before a game is huge as well. And this is a neutral fan. This isn't the Rovers. This isn't the Rovers or Bows fan. This is a neutral fan just bringing his kids to a game. So it's absolutely great to see.
Yeah, 100%. Enough chit chat, lads. Down to business. Let's go. Of course, a massive football game taking place this Friday. Shamrock Rovers against Bows. Kind of mentioned it briefly there. Rovers coming into this off the back of a disappointing game against Dundalk, a 1-0 defeat, and Bohemians coming in off the back of a 1-0 win against Shelbourne. But a big caveat being that Kieran Kelly will miss this game. Of course, Bows' defensive problems have been quite a big talking point this season. They've been quite shoddy at the back, which of course will be a huge boost to Shamrock Rovers. But Jack Byrne's been injured. Is he still expected to miss out?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's the case with Jack, Mandrew, and Burke. I don't know, because like they weren't in the squad, and Mandrew picked up a knock towards the end of the game last week as well. Finn being suspended too. That's the game he's built for.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I haven't heard any team news or nothing yet, so I'll try hop on to that. But fingers crossed we have the lads available for us. All right.
Yeah. Soccer, how do you assess the two sides going into this?
It's tricky, like as I said, obviously Rovers be the favourites, but Bows I'm kind of getting surprise results out of nowhere a lot of the season. Like the first half of the season was really disappointing for their point of view, but then they did pop up with a few kind of random results. And they had a super win against Shells there on Friday. Had to play 40 odd minutes, 35 minutes with 10 men. I thought they were really impressive. Rode their luck kind of once or twice, but you're going to need that when you're playing 40 minutes with 10 men. James Talbot's a big loss for them, but Ty Ryan didn't put a foot wrong against Shells. And Keith Long spoke really highly of him after the game. It's going to be interesting to see. I remember last year, was it James Talbot was injured in the warm-ups. It was Stephen McGuinness played against Rovers. Yeah, and he had a mare.
I remember that,
made a big howler. So hopefully the same doesn't happen to Ty Ryan.
Of course you would say that.
I think Tyreek Wilson's back for this game as well. So it'd be interesting. Then from Rovers' point of view, like their form has been obviously much, much better, but coming off the back of that loss with Dundalk, Finn be a big loss. The team news become clearer tomorrow evening when that's out. If Bows win, I think they go 5th. And obviously Dundalk are just 5 points behind Rovers, so all
with a game in hand as well.
With a game in hand, so all them at Oil will be hoping for Bows to get a result to kind of cut the gap.
Yeah, be interested to see as well. Both think 3 new signings so far: John O'Sullivan, and then there's a centre half and a left back. The names escape me at the moment, but be interested to see if they're ready to go just yet, or if it's going to be another little while.
Coming in they're after the first.
They're after the first.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Cool. When's that? Okay, so they're missing out on this one. But it would have been handy to have that centre half in if they could have got him in. With Kieran Kelly out, of course, but yeah. It's Jordan Doherty and I don't know who else can be playing in there, but definitely an area of the pitch where Rovers be looking at and targeting that kind of the heart of Bows' defence, for sure. Is it a game for an Aaron Green? Is it
Rory Gaffney? Rory
Aaron
Gaffney
Green
will absolutely. He'll do something during the game, no doubt. Anyway,
I
think Gaffney is the type of fella that's going to run ragged against them. He did it the last time, and no doubt he'll do it again this time. Fully confident he will. So it is. I think it's got to be a good game, all right. But I think we wipe the floor with them. To be honest with you, I don't think we'll score much. I think I said 2-0, but I think we'll wipe them. So I don't see it any other way. I'm just being honest. I just can't.
He doesn't want to see it any other way.
Refuses to see it any other way.
Because just saying, watching them in Daily, the last game in April in Daily, we tore them asunder. They've no dogging them, they're no fighting them. We outfought them.
What score was that again?
3-1.
3-1.
Three. 2 ex-Bows players and 1 ex-Rovers player scoring no goals. So it's fantastic. No, I think we wipe the floor with them. I don't see, and there's no evidence for me to say it'll be a dogfight like it has been the last few years, especially after these 2 games we played against them. I think we could easily. I gave a prediction in the chat 2-0. Wouldn't be surprised if it was 3 or 4-0. And again, Rovers fans singing to Keith Long, he's getting sacked in the morning. Music to my ears.
Soccer, do you agree with Adzy's assessment, or do you see it being a more close contest?
It's one of them things that I think if Rovers got an early goal, Bows found it really, really hard to get back into the game. But if Bows can keep Rovers scoreless for a lot of the first half, then it's anyone's game. They're definitely underdogs coming into this, but I wouldn't be as confident as Adam, to be honest.
Where's the evidence for that? Where is it? Where's your evidence?
Show me the evidence.
I look at it. I think if Mandrew plays, that's the difference, because Bows are very aggressive when it comes to Mandrew.
What about Lions?
I still think Mandrew got the blunt of it, because Mandrew was the type in the past to get wound up. But the last game he played against them, he couldn't have fed off their aggressiveness and, didn't get as aggressive back. Because, I think I've mentioned it before, the games before last, he used to always just be up for it and always be real thick and, he'd real aggressive towards Bows, but it never worked in his favour. He was trying too hard. But now he plays the game like any other game he plays. He lets the game come to him. He draws every foul. He's just so comfortable on the ball against them, and he was man of the match last time out against them as well because of the way he played. They were over aggressive with him. He was just, doing his thing, like letting them foul him, letting them come in through the back of him and stuff. So I think that he's kind of not mastered that, but he's kind of got a certain level.
Kinda.
Yeah, I think that's a sign of his maturity, exactly. So I think Lyons kind of laps that up as well.
Yeah, he's kind of a mature bloke already. Lyons, he's never been like the type to kind of get sucked into like an atmosphere or get affected too much by the crowd. He seems kind of level-headed enough.
Yeah,
might take Andrew another couple of years maybe to gain that, but I think Lyons, I think maybe playing in a wing-back position is easier as well. It's a bit more kind of under the radar, you could say.
Well, he's out. He'll be out at one point on the side of the Bows fans.
Yeah.
So he'll no doubt. If Bows stick to their word, if Bows fans stick to their word, they're going to make Tallaght an absolute cesspit and destroy Tallaght, like they're meant to do to Daniel last time. But of course, they didn't do it, and we're complaining at Rovers fans for doing it. But I'm not going to get into that. So,
I'm surprised they haven't sold out the allocation yet.
Yeah, is that true? Is it?
Yeah.
To Bows?
Yeah, their Instagram this afternoon had there was still loads of tickets left.
Jesus,
could be wrong,
Christ.
But what did that say? Haven't sold out allocation.
Yeah,
I'm surprised. Yeah.
The big club. The big club.
They're all broke after buying the 16 jerseys they released this season.
No. Yeah, actually, yeah. Or responsible football bleeding projects or whatever you want to call it. No. Do you know what? They spent all the money on the Stony Batter Festival for poets and a tour at Dalymount Park. That's what they did.
Adzy's saying 2-3 Dale Soccer. What are you saying score prediction wise?
2-1 Rovers. I think that's what I went with earlier.
Rovers. Yeah, shocking.
Yeah, I'd go 2-0 Rovers. I think it will be.
Man, Ross.
I think it will be comfortable for them. I don't know. I think Rovers. I think if Rovers score early, there's nothing to say that Bows don't collapse here. Just given that Kieran Kelly's out of the team and their defense isn't great. And I know they're quite resolute against Shells. In fairness, maybe that's a promising sign. But Rovers are a much different proposition than Shells in the final third at the moment. And I think Rovers should if they're not. There's a lot of question marks around them, but they should be picking up a comfortable 3 points there, I think.
It's a really big game for them, kind of to make a statement of intent in their second half of the season. Like Keith Long spoke a lot after the Shells match and said they were really disappointed with the first half of the season and they were really happy with the Shells win, but they have to back it up now with a performance in the Dublin Derby. So I think they can lay down a bit of a marker, like win tomorrow. And they're right back up there in the European places. So I think it'd be a big test to see where they're at, and not just get a class result against Shells and just fall apart completely the next week. The consistency has been the big word at Dalymount this year,
It happened last time. Should they beat Shells? What was it, 4-1 in Tolka? And then, they come around next week to us and then they were just embarrassed. So, it's the truth, though.
If Bows somehow pull off a win here, Adzy, you can't show your face on the live stream next week.
I can. Clip it. No, make sure everyone clips this. It's fine. I'm ready for it.
But,
I've all the cloud chasers tweets at the ready anyway, so it's fine.
I'll give you some tips.
Grand.
Well, I think we've discussed that one. I think we're all very eager to see how it goes, and it's going to be a great game, hopefully. And looking forward to that one. And hopefully, we get to see Adzy's face next week, depending on what mood he's in.
I kind of feel bad for Bows. This has kind of turned into like giving a Bows stick channel. So it has, but
that's how you get the clicks, man.
It's getting the clout.
Just before we jump into a bit of Ireland chat, if you can drop a like on the stream, that'd be absolutely brilliant. If you can hit around that 30 mark, that'd be super if you're enjoying it so far. And please do subscribe as well. After hitting 3K there last week, so I'd lie with that. But keep playing on now. 5K by the end of the year is the goal. So please do help out any way you can. Appreciate your support. But under 21 playoff for the Euros, Ireland were drawn with Israel. Obviously a tough draw. Israel, very decent Israel side, and I think they did quite well in their group stage, but definitely could have been worse, you'd say.
Yeah, it was funny. I was at the FAI for the cup draw, and like that kind of went on a bit longer. Like I know there's more teams, but like the women's draw came out, and he was like, "Oh, let's have a look at last year's campaign." And then there was like a 5 minute clip, and then the men's draw. Let's have a look at last year's campaign, and just kind of whereas the Ireland draw, like it was straight in, straight out. It was the least, the quickest draw I've ever seen. Like it was only like 2 or 3 minutes long and no messing. But yeah, Israel. Yeah. Talk like I know anything about the Israel under-21s, to be honest. They have the exact same record as us. I think it was 5 wins and a draw, or 6 wins and a draw. Obviously, you can look at it 2 ways. Like, would you rather have the first leg of Tala, hopefully get a decent score, and then maybe just do the job over in Israel, or vice versa? Them type of things are kind of out of your hands. Thought Crawford was quite interesting what he said. He said that Ireland are kind of seen as the underdogs, and they were the favourable opponent. So that might play into their hands a little bit. But it's an absolutely massive game. Crawford said a few times the biggest game in the under-21's history.
Yeah.
That's September now. Just really, really hope they can do it. It'd be super. They've obviously never qualified for a major tournament before, so yeah, fingers crossed.
Are those Euros next summer then? Is it, if the playoffs September is it next summer they're on? Yeah, nice. Yeah,
in Romania and Georgia.
Yeah, it'd be an amazing achievement, and obviously a disappointing kind of performance against Italy in their last game. Obviously, if we had won that, we would have qualified automatically. But listen, Italy are always going to be a very classy outfit, and a lot of top players coming through. But I'm mainly disappointed by kind of the manner of some of the goals. A lot of maybe individual errors at the back, and we can't be affording to concede kind of those types of goals if we're to go through. You feel in the playoff that's going to be quite tight, you'd imagine.
No, if you make them calls. Oh, sorry, go on, Adam.
Oh yeah, it was just the game I watched was quite poor. Disappointed with thinking of Brian Maher. I've sung his praises enough on the channel as it is. Very disappointed for him, but I think it's more so a freak game that happens. I know you can't really afford it, at the top level, but that's the goals you concede like that. It's how many games you're gonna have like that where you're gonna concede goals like that. So I think it'd be disappointed. Obviously, be disappointed, but it couldn't get much worse than what it has been. So I still think they still have plenty of confidence coming into the playoff. Because what was it? Didn't we have like 9 players in the squad or starting for us in the senior games that could have played for the 21s, and yet our 21 squad is still competing in they're still competing in that like level where they can get qualified and stuff like that as well. So
yeah,
plenty to be positive about, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Like look at like I think people were talking about kind of bringing Festi back down and stuff like that as well. And I think you probably it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because like I think once you bring him up, it's hard to kind of say, oh, you're going back down now, and then take a player out of the team that's like a Leo Connor, for example, at right back, take him out of the team when he's been doing really well there, for example. So it's a tricky one to try and find the right kind of the right thing to do in that position. Like if you qualify for the Euros, you bring Festi in and stuff. Like it's hard to know, isn't it? It was a shame to not see him get any minutes for the senior team and then have been taken out of the 21s.
Yeah, Jim Crawford was pretty clear, I think, before the Italy game. He said we won't be bringing. He didn't say we won't be bringing, but he basically said that he'll be sticking to the players who got them to the stage already, and I think that'll apply for the playoffs as well. He's pretty loyal to the group he has, and he says the players who got us here, I want to reward them. They're the players who are going to see us through to hopefully to the Euro. So but I suppose it is
give the players a boost as well. That
it is.
Hearing your manager and saying we're banking it, we're banking on you. You said good enough. We don't need Troy to come down or Fest to come down or whoever. I think
that's the whole
it's
team,
still in that. Yeah, it's still in that confidence in them is great, and they're clearly benefiting from it.
Yeah, No, absolutely. Couple of interesting stories coming out of just generally we kind of do an Irish players abroad segment every week. If you're new joining in, that's kind of like what we kind of look at, maybe things going on abroad and things like that. We saw Carl Heffernan signed a deal with AC Milan, which is brilliant news. Really promising centre back. I think it was a loan deal, wasn't it, from Cork initially? 16, 17 years of age. Signed a deal with AC Milan to stay there now for the next season. So really interesting one to see how he gets on there, but really promising, and he seems like an outrageously good talent, and hopefully gets on well over there.
Yeah, I think he had 15. I can't remember now. It was 15 games for there under 18s, and then he got promoted to the under 21s. I think I wrote about it today. I can't remember now. But basically,
well,
really good. Yeah, a really good season over there. Obviously impressed. I think he got a photo with Maldini a few weeks ago that did the rounds. And yeah, super opportunity for him. Obviously made his debut in Cork City and then signed the deal, the loan deal not long after. So there was an option to make it permanent in the loan deal. So AC Milan have chosen to do that now, and I think he heads back for pre-season next month now. So it's superb, yeah.
Bit bizarre loan deal, isn't it? Like having that sort of deal.
Interesting one, yeah.
I know we did the same with Aaron Bulger, loaned him to Cardiff.
Yeah, I remember that actually. Yeah.
I don't know. Like I think it's kind of a smart move from the clubs, you know. So just in case, like they did sort of on a permanent, like they don't rate there, he might have got injured or something that they, you know, they could have been a waste of investment. But I think the loan is kind of more so like a trial as well. It's clearly paid off.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And that one, I think Aaron Bulger, did he get signed by Cardiff? I think he's back in the first. He's with Cork, isn't he? I think
he's
now
with
Cork City. I think. Yeah.
It's a good way of doing it. Like obviously,
no, yeah.
I think it's motivating for the player as well. That look, it's a loan deal, but he's probably thinking of it as a child. So he has to perform week in, week out. So
yeah, maybe gives him that more of an incentive to kind of do it and to perform. And he hasn't made it, like he has to keep going and stuff and get some kind of acclimatized quicker, maybe, or something. Might be an interesting idea to it, but obviously seeing more. Sorry, fire away.
I do think he won't get too big for his boots, and he'll get his feet on the ground. His dad, God, what's his dad's name?
Rob, isn't it?
Yeah. Thanks for saving me. Olympic bronze medalist, and his mom was an Olympian as well. So, and I think his sister plays for was capped at under 17 level for Ireland. So, like a huge sporting family, and does not look like a player who will get too far ahead of himself.
Good genes in the family.
Good genes. Good genes.
Yeah,
good denim genes.
God almighty. But we're seeing it's more of a trend of Irish players kind of moving to the continent and moving to Europe rather than making the jump to the UK. And I think Sam Curtis could be the latest one. I think he's a defender at Pats, 16, 17 years of age. And I believe he's actually being looked at by Feyenoord, interestingly enough, which would be a really good move for him, and hopefully comes to fruition. But it's interesting to see the young lads going to Europe, and we've kind of seen a lot of lads. I think we've next year in Serie A we've got Carl Heffernan, Kevin Zeffy, Festi, and we've got James Abanqua as well, of course, with Udinese. So see Sam Curtis going to Holland as well. It's quite cool to see, isn't it? Seeing them kind of going to different countries and getting these different experiences.
It's different, yeah, because I think it's crucial for them in terms of maturity. Because I think England you're still away from home, but it's probably a similar way of life as it is to here.
Yeah, that not going out culture isn't as strong. Maybe like probably a push, but like it's
no, but not even that. But like even in terms of little things like your diet and stuff and where you're situated, you know what I mean? Like it's little things like that. It's vastly different to what it is over here. So there could be a bit of going out to do with it as well. So I can't speak.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting one, definitely, and hopefully it does work out for him. He seems like a really, really promising young prospect, and there seems to be a lot of promising young players on the scene at the moment. And this one is one that we've all seen that's really turned into a bit of a superstar. Of course, it's Nathan Collins with Burnley. Obviously, Burnley relegated from the Premier League, with Nathan Collins being a standout performer towards the end of the season for them, being nominated for Premier League Player of the Month, and of course had a cracking international break with Ireland, scoring one of the best goals I've seen in a long time from a defender. Anyway, amazing solo run and a clinical finish, as cool as you like, and he looks like an outstanding talent. Of course, there's going to be a lot of Premier League interest in him. I believe Wolves, Leeds, and the likes. I'll take a look. Spurs as well, potentially. But I think Burnley could be quoting as high as 40 million for Nathan Collins, which seems a bit mad, potentially. But looks a cracking player, doesn't he?
Can I read out Ken Early's tweet from after the Ukraine match?
Of course. Your screen's gone black there, Sucker. I'm not sure if it's...
Yeah, no, it's because I'm on Twitter.
Sorry, yeah.
Ken Early. This match report compares Nathan Collins to Van Dijk, Beckenbauer, Laurent Blanc, Kaká, Iniesta, and Luis Suarez. Too much? You decide. Oh my god, absolutely
so good.
One of the I screamed like a girl when that goal went in. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
What a goal!
It was a big like.
Christ Almighty! Don't do that again. No,
absolutely insane goal, and he looks like a massive talent. Like, got a lot of minutes in the Premier League with Burnley, and looks set to move on now. And like, I think it was only his second or third cap, but he played like he had 30. Like, I swear to God, unreal.
Because sometimes you see defenders making those runs and they get into the shooting position and they kind of like get a nosebleed and they blast over the bar and stuff. Like, they've had a good run, but then they kind of panic.
Rudiger.
But exactly, great example. Kurt Zoom, I think, had one for Chelsea as well. But the composure and the finish, like, and it was like, I heard him say after that Ukraine game that he was knackered as well, because it's 4 tough games in a short enough period of time after a grueling enough end to the Premier League season as well. I'd say he's exhausted, but the composure and he's a fabulous footballer, isn't he? He's genuine captain material potentially moving forward.
I was going to say he's probably a Shane Duffy. Sorry, Sacco. It's probably a Shane Duffy replacement. Considering how much better he already is in the ball than Duffy is as well, it's kind of lining him up to take that role from him already. Like, he's everything you want in a modern centre half. He can play, he can run, obviously defend as well. So it's exciting times, especially. What's he, only 20? Is he still
21? Is he? I think. Yeah. Mad.
Yeah, it's madness.
The centre backs we have coming through is absolutely ridiculous. Well, not coming through, but like starting off on the senior side, like Darragh Lenihan, Nathan Collins, Omar Bamidele, and Dara O'Shea. Like, brilliant options to have. And not to go on tangent, but you look at the last few Ireland games, and the last 2 games we were missing like 6-7 starters, arguably. So like, the strength and depth when everyone's fit is superb. And the rest has been for a long time.
Even like Dara O'Shea, like, he was so unlucky with his injury. Like, he's such a nice footballer. He's such a nice footballer. I remember I played against him actually in 4th year. He was with Temple Oak College. He was Temple Oak College. I was Benildes, and they had him playing up front.
Really?
He was just
too good.
He was just so good in the ball. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if he was a natural finisher or whatnot, but he was very good with just the ball at his feet, his hold up play, and when I found out he was a defender, I was like, no, hardly. Like, he was very good on the ball up top as well. So it's, even seeing him come through was deadly. I just had to plug that in, my little claim to fame there. So I'll take it. Yeah,
absolutely. Finally, at Oxford, 23-year-old defender coming through, and Burnley are close to finalising the signing for him. He'd come in as Nathan Collins' replacement, of course. Luke McNally, 1.75 million transfer fee being bandied about, apparently. Coming into Burnley, working under Vincent Kompany, not a bad centre half to learn your trade from. 23 years of age, so still a good age to kind of come into his own and become a top championship defender, and potentially then move into the Premier League with Burnley. He'll be no doubt looking for promotion back at the first time of asking. So kind of out of nowhere, not out of nowhere, because obviously he's been a great player in League One, but out of nowhere, potentially another Premier League centre half on the cards and in in Stephen Kenny's eyes. And great to see, of course, former St. Pat's player as well, played with St. Pat's. Always looked a smashing player with them. So another LOI export doing bits. And yeah, at Burnley, it's an exciting one because with Collins leaving, I think Tarkowski's gone as well. I think Ben Mee, I'm not sure what his buzz is, but there's definitely a need for centre half there. And the fact that Vincent Kompany, of course, is going to know centre halves very well, is looking at him, definitely a positive sign.
Yeah, for sure. I think that another player that went over today or signed the contract extension was Costello. He moved over from Galway, I think it was. Had 2 seasons with their under-23s and just announced a contract extension today.
Deadly.
I think he's 18 or 19. I can't remember. But he was their under-23s top scorer last season. Wow. I think 15 goals in all competitions. So that's another Irish player at Burnley now to go along with Kevin Long.
Kevin Long, yeah.
Nathan
Someone
Collins.
else, isn't it?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Stephen Ward.
Stephen Ward.
No, he's not there anymore. Jeff Hendrick, no, he's gone as well. Solid Irish contingent over the years.
Kevin Long,
yeah.
Gent.
He's probably still knocking about, actually, isn't he? Yeah. Cracking talent. But yeah, lads, that was an absolute pleasure as always. A cracking weekend of LOI action in store, of course. Hopefully join us again. I'll say the next Wednesday 8. I think that could be the buzz moving forward. Hopefully we can try and keep it on the same day moving forward. But yeah, as always, lads, an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in. Please do drop a like on the stream if you don't mind, if you've enjoyed it, and subscribe if you're new around here as well. But yeah, absolute gents, lads.
Cheers, boys.
Lads. Good one.